Jota Zeta and Fortibus. Watch Cinderella. That's the best I could do with impossible.
Sound like impossible at all.
Impossible.
It goes
Jota Zeta and
watching Cinderella.
And today we watched Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella as presented by Walt Disney Pictures and Whitney Houston.
And I will give you a quick rundown. Boy and girl meet, don't know who they are. Girl has evil stepmother and annoying sisters.
Evil's really pushing the stepmother thing, but we'll get to it.
Then the prince throws a ball because his parents want him to find an heir, particularly his mother. They throw said ball, and at this ball, if the prince doesn't find the love of his life, then he can choose love of his life later. Cinderella wants to go to the ball, can't go to the ball. Godmother is Whitney Houston.
I'm your fairy godmother, honey.
She says, you can go to the ball, you can do anything you want to. They go to the ball, they fall in love, she leaves the ball, and then he comes and finds her. The end.
It's like Cinderella. But we had to add that Whitney Houston was the godmother.
They're teeing up the message there.
It's impossible.
It's possible.
What's the matter with me? You think after 600 years?
What is it about the fairy godmother always having a hard time with their magic?
I think it's just supposed to make them more relatable. But when Whitney Houston's like, oh, you think after 600 years, it did not sound relatable at all. Oh, you can see the painting.
Oh my goodness, you can.
Oh, those effects. Oh my gosh. It looks so real.
My favorite thing about this one, though, is the carriage actually looks like a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that. It's a good detail.
And she's not friends with mice like a weirdo.
But there are mice that are in a birdcage. But you're right. I do give a lot of other Cinderella's crap for being, like, insane. Those look like plastic slippers.
Once again, not in this economy.
You must leave the ball before the clock strikes 12. It's very important. Before 12? Look, I don't make the rules.
Why doesn't she make the rules? What rules is she beholden to? How did she become Cinderella's fairy godmother? Why does she only show up now?
See, that's the potential that Disney's wish could have answered, because it's about the fairy godmother. Ruined.
Oh, look, the backgrounds. Look at the backgrounds. They're trying to hide it.
Once again, never paid attention to that.
They're like little wooden cutouts. But like it's all in front of a green screen.
I feel like you're supposed to be looking at Whitney Houston and not the background.
I know. Hey, I thought she said she wasn't going to be here.
I also have never thought about that before.
How much screen time does Whitney Houston have to have in her own production?
It's a Whitney Houston production. She deserves all the screen time.
So we probably should start walking through the characters.
Well, who's your favorite? That's the one I want to start with.
My favorite was, I don't remember his character's name, but it was Jason Alexander.
Lionel.
Because Lionel he's what I needed in the movie, which was a guy that every over-the-top like movie or a thing like that needs to have like a straight man who is just like, this isn't as fun. He needs to get punished and tortured for not being part of the magic. And that's this character. Yeah, he has his own song, but he gets caught up in it because like he has to put the ball together in 2 days, and then he has to read like a super long list of names, and then he has to get everything together. And I like how the song ends with him reading the list and getting names mixed up with the items that he has to get ready for the party, and it just like, and then like he's a slapstick, but all the jokes and stuff like that. But they also give him a couple of moments with the stepmother where he's just like, "You're awful." And he gets to slam him down. I wish there was something between us. So what was that?
You know, I honestly wish there was something between us.
Really?
Yes. A continent.
A continent. Which is like, that's the type of jokes that I enjoy, and that's the type of stuff that it's going in the movie. So, yeah, he was my favorite.
I actually would argue that he's my favorite as well. Well, I just find him really entertaining. I find him really funny, and I love the voice of reason stuff that you were saying throughout. And he is the most relatable character, I think, as well, because it's definitely fantastical, and then he is very serious. How did you feel about the king and queen?
You've got to call this ball off immediately.
Not possible.
It's difficult to cancel once you got the ball rolling.
I thought that the Queen was not a performance. It was hammed up. She was crazy insane about getting kids and babies, and then she had to flip back and forth, and then she had the moment with her son. I don't think she was very consistent. I think the King was very consistent.
Look at his face. Is that a smile?
It's a wince.
Tiny little smile.
Wishful thinking.
But the idea is that she was all over the place, and he was like, now, dear. That's a very interesting... It's not a very interesting dynamic.
Well, I think that the King is fairly consistent, but I would argue that the Queen has a little bit of a character arc. Because she's really, really pushy in the beginning. She wants to be pushy. She wants grandchildren and everything.
He'll find the one he's looking for tonight, I'm sure of it.
And if he doesn't?
This ball will never end.
But by the end of the film, she starts prioritizing what is best for her son rather than what's best for her.
Except that this only came about after she insisted on having a ball, saying that he will find someone to fall in love with. And then he did find someone to fall in love with, and then her decision was, well, you can just marry any of them, you know. And she's like, no. She's like, okay, fine, you can marry the one person that you found at the ball that I threw for you.
Well, I think
it's an easy arc.
I think it's important that she realizes how much her son is in love with this stranger.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, because it's at that time of the conversation, she realizes how in love it is, and then she asks, well, are you in love with her because she's lovely, or do you think she's lovely because you're in love with her?
I thought they were just reprising the same song that they were doing themselves.
Well, yeah. My favorite thing about this movie is the prince, because the prince has a personality.
He's a little too generically nice, though. Like, he does have a personality.
And I love his character arc because he's feeling like he doesn't have a life of his own.
I have no life of my own.
That he can't control anything, that he feels trapped. And then he meets someone who he feels free with, and then he decides to take his destiny into his own hands, much like Cinderella does in this movie, to go find her. Instead of just wandering around. Like, at the beginning, the first song is, somewhere out there's a great love waiting for me.
Is waiting somewhere for me.
And he's just kind of like wandering through town, hoping one day it'll happen. But by the end, when he decides to chase after Cinderella, he goes, my love is waiting for me, and I'm going to go find her.
Somewhere for me.
Well, you're right. The prince makes a decision, and then he goes with Jason Alexander. They have the compilation of him putting a slipper onto everyone's foot, and it just doesn't fit. They did. Everyone's foot was too big, except for that one person's, and it was too small. I'm glad they included that. Then they decided to have a funny joke where it fit the stepmother,
Which was hilarious.
And I was like, whoa. And I got excited for a bit because I was like, what are they going to do to resolve that? That's very interesting. And then it was just cut off her circulation.
And it's cutting off my circulation!
And it was just a joke.
Which is funny because the humor in the 1950s animated Cinderella movie is what made us like it so much. And then now that it's this live action movie, you're like, man, I wish they just didn't choose the humor route.
Yeah, I kind of wish they didn't choose the humor route. There's 1950 Cinderella, the classic Cinderella. There is some very serious moments to really draw down the drama. Like when the stepmother locks her in and she looks at Cinderella as she's doing it, that's just cold, and that's awesome.
I think your biggest problem with this movie is that the evil stepmother wasn't quote unquote evil enough for you.
And that's what I have a problem with a lot of Cinderella movies that I see, is that like, I get like, she's not nice. I'm not saying that this the Cinderella in this movie is perfectly fine and cared for and nothing ever wrong happens to her. But yeah, you're right. The stepmother, I haven't watched enough Cinderella stuff. This is what we're doing. But in most of the Cinderellas I've seen, the stepsisters are just like goofballs and whatevers and just like ooh, whatever. And then the stepmom usually is the one that like lays down like the cruelty and stuff like that. And I get it. Daughters, stepmothers, there's like a thing there. And like she had a good line. She said something like,
You're common, Cinderella.
"Oh, that would be," that. I'm like, that was nice, but I'm like, but she's never brought it up before. They've never really set up like that she's high nobility. Everyone like looks like they're wearing crazy clothes again because it's a musical. Everyone else is wearing the same things except for the main characters, so that you can see them and that they stand out. And like, yeah, the stepsisters they go from comical to singing alongside Cinderella when it meets their needs, and then they're like, "Oh, what door?" And they're like, "No, Cinderella can't be happy." And I'm like, that's not the same stepsisters that I saw the other day, but it's not the same stepsisters that I saw the other day who were just like, "Cinderella, get me this. Oh, you're so lazy." Like, their level of meanness isn't consistent.
It just hit me so hard, the fact that you were never a teenage girl in middle school.
Correct.
Because this movie I love because
These are mean girls.
this is what it is. Like the evil stepsisters are the people who are silly and just absolutely inconsiderate of everything. And like,
They're so inconsiderate of Cinderella, and that is like so rude.
and everything, and they're followers, and they do whatever they want. But the stepmother, I like the stepmother a lot because she's like secretly mean. Like, if anybody saw her and everything, you'd think that she was nice, she's wealthy, and you wouldn't think that anything's wrong. But then she has all these like hard feelings against Cinderella.
Don't cling to the past, Cinderella. It's not very attractive. Cinderella, warm milk.
It's not very attractive.
It's a recurring theme in a lot of Cinderella movies, but in this one especially, that Cinderella has something that the stepmother cannot have, which is love and happiness.
I fell in love with love everlasting. But love vanished with
Right, and like, I like when she was angry, it's because she realized that she was at the ball and that the prince had fallen in love with her, and that's where she snaps and like she punches, and you could see the actress did a great job, like, because you could see that she was doing it out of pain and not out of just cruelty.
And I like it because she's not just pure random evil, like
Right.
the 1950s green eyes version. It's like she has a little bit of a motive, and her meanness is subtle, and over the years that can break somebody down. And then when she's honest about it, like, it really hits you hard and it's more emotional.
Yeah.
You can disagree with me, but that's what I think.
No, what you're saying isn't wrong. It's just that
What you're saying isn't right either.
no, it's an opinion, and your opinion is valid, and I'm not saying that your opinion is not valid. My opinion is just different. Yeah, maybe you're right. I have not been a teenage girl ever in my life, and yeah, and it's just, and I did notice like the mean girlish type persona. Like, yeah, they're inconsiderate of her, and I guess I just haven't been that many people been that inconsiderate of me. Where I'm just, and when I think of that way, I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, do this, whatever.
What did you think about Cinderella?
I thought I like her character. I thought Brandy did a good job. I liked her enough. I think that I like that they connected on the fact that they both had different things. I sympathized more with Cinderella. I did not sympathize with the prince. I don't sympathize with the rich people that want to get away from their rich frivolities.
Had a wonderful time today, Lionel. No one treated me like a prince. What a relief to be among real people.
Oh, I'm just so privileged. It's so hard to be privileged.
And it's hard to relate to him as Lionel's buttoning up his sleeves as he's complaining for him.
Exactly. I get it, though. I get it. He wants something more in life than just expectation. And
Want something real.
yeah, I get that. And I'm also for the people.
The people?
I was gonna say for the people that are privileged in my audience, but like, if you're privileged in my audience, you should just check out my PayPal link there in the description. Buy me a can of Coke. I'm thirsty. Well, but yeah, I get that from that perspective. If you have all of that and people approach you and they try to be fake to get your stuff, I totally get that. Understand it. But like her plight should, it was like, I was like, oh yeah, she's Cinderella. It's worse because she's getting like abused at home. And I guess what I want to see in a Cinderella film, I want to see her overcome that, and that makes the lift better, and that makes the struggle more, and that gives her more to overcome. But I also like that she questioned what's going on. I like that there is the mystery of, does she know it's the prince at the beginning or not? After watching the movie, I am a huge believer of she absolutely knows. She just doesn't believe in herself. I think the story works better if she knows. But also, he doesn't recognize her, so that's like red flag number 1.
You know, I have the funniest feeling. I've met you somewhere before.
Well, I'm sure I would remember.
When I grew up watching this movie, I was convinced that Cinderella did not know who the prince was, and that she went to the ball and had this wonderful thing, and then when they saw each other in regular life, like, everything clicked. But I actually like your opinion that she knew and then just didn't think that she was good enough, because I think, like, what I love is that Cinderella has a couple big things in this movie that she learns. Is one, that she's deserving of everything, that, like, she deserves a happy life. She deserves to go to the ball and have fun and to find love and everything. And the second thing that I love is that when, after the ball and she sings Lovely Night, she runs out and she prays to her father, and she goes,
Father, I know I promised that I'd never leave here. But after tonight, I don't see how I can stay.
I know I promised you to stay here, but I can't handle it anymore. And I think, like, and then she decides to leave and pursue her happy life. And I think that's really hard because, like, a lot of people think that Cinderella just went to a ball and married a guy to solve all her problems.
Yep.
And that is, like, such a pet peeve of mine, probably because I grew up on this Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, where she chooses to fix her own problems. And by believing that she's good enough to go to the ball, she goes to the ball by herself without her fairy godmother entering. And then when she decides to leave and take care and do the healthy choice for her, that's when she runs into the prince at the end.
Yeah. But I do feel like it is that's the spin on the story rather than the story being created for it. Because they still run through, like, the things. The stepmother still locks her up. They have to have the scene to get her through the door, and then it's like, oh, she's gone. What a twist. Oh, she's outside because she's ready to make the change. Also, she didn't look at him, but she responded with the right same way. That's
right.
the other confirmation. She knows, yeah.
She knows.
But yeah, I do like that there's a lot more choice in there. I like how we made a big like excitement, like, oh, the 1950s Cinderella, she's like, oh, do this, oh, do that, and the very first scene that she actually has to do chores, which we don't see her do any chores in this movie, by the way. We see her hold a couple things, we see her open the door, and then she just wanders around and sings and plays pretend, which is fine. It's a musical, but also that's. Again,
where's the bubble scene?
Where's the bubble scene? I forgot about the bubble. Oh gosh. But like, it didn't seem like there was much hardship. But again, that's not the point of this one. This one's more whimsical, beautiful music. Go watch, feel good. Don't worry about it too much. And I really don't want, like, the darkest Cinderella. But I would appreciate a bit more of the impact of, like, wow, this is really bad, and this is because, like, all the things that you talked about her overcoming this and making, like, leaving a bad situation because you think it's going to be better or because you promised somebody and it's not working out, and you have to believe in yourself. It's really, really hard, and it's really hard sometimes when you've convinced yourself in a bad situation that you need to stay there. And I think it would have hit harder and more impactful if they just went that extra distance. But that's not what they're doing. It's like I also would have liked if they developed a bit more. Like, she said, like, yeah, I made a promise. I was like, oh, that would have been nice to know at the beginning, like, why is she staying? But again, everyone knows the story of Cinderella. Like you said, oh, the father's a merchant. I'm like, how do we know it in this version? And we don't. we have to wait for the small snippets of details, and like you need to watch it 3 or 4 times to really get like involved and perfect, and like now everything kind of like falls and makes sense. But like, so like as a musical it's fine because you watch, listen to music. As a story, I am left with motivational holes. I just know I am sad, I am this, I don't like doing this, and now I'm up to speed, and that's just not my preferred way of storytelling. I don't think that the setups are enough to pay off everything, but I do like, again, the decision. I like that they have a song together where they're like,
As wonderful as you seem.
It rhymes.
it rhymes. It rhymes better. It rhymes better than me and me and me, which is what they do. What the stepsisters do. Maybe that's the point. If that's the point, well, that's brilliant. But if it's not, that's dumb.
In Disney Descendants, they had them come back to be married adults, Cinderella and Prince Charming.
Your father's never cared about what other people think.
I don't have to. I'm charming.
That's debatable.
Oh, that's actually really cool. That's really neat.
Okay, so, well, capitalizing on how you don't like musicals,
Yes.
what was your favorite song in the musical? 2 songs. The one
2.
that you would listen to,
Okay.
and the one that you think was best for the story.
The one
It
that
could be the same answer.
the one that I think was best for the story was the "Are you beautiful because I love you" or "Do I love you because you're beautiful?" I thought that was good.
I agree.
It wasn't. It should have been a longer plot point because like they got the queen involved. She sings a reprisal.
I will say I love that song so much because it tackles the love at first sight
Yeah.
thing and how could you fall in love with someone at the ball, and it like shows that they're actually considering of it. But I've always felt that point is never quite resolved. Is it love or infatuation? Is like that's in their minds, to what they're thinking, and then they get married.
But what they did with it was really good. That's what I'm saying. And I think that as far as all the songs that go into things, that's the one that's probably the best. Because Impossible is just a fun fairy godmother thing, even though it touches on the themes.
Which one would you listen in the car if you absolutely had to?
They're throwing a ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You like that one that much?
I like Jason Alexander, and I like that that's when it knows it's being a musical, and it knows it can be as nonsensical as possible, and it's playing around with words. Jason did the hammer, get the rosebuds, it's all talking quick. And then I'm like how is I was like impressed, like they weren't like it's hard to speak all those words without mixing yourself up, and then they do it, but they mix it up the words at the end because the character's getting mixed up, which plays to the comedy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's the song I would listen to because it makes me smile, but I wouldn't listen to it because I'm not a big musical guy.
The song that I would listen to in the car would probably, I've always loved the very first song, so like Somewhere Out There My True Love Is Waiting For Me, or whatever that song is called. I always loved that because I just thought the harmonies and like the rounds that they sing in the song were always really pretty to listen to.
They do a pretty good job of that.
And then at the reprise plays into the princess character, which I love, and then it plays into the theme. So the real question is, I don't even know if this is a real question we can ask. Is it better or worse than the 1950s Cinderella?
Is it a good Cinderella story? Yeah, this one, Cinderella definitely didn't have as much. I still think she needed more screen time if she was going to be the main character, but she had the majority of the songs. I think she was tied with Whitney Houston. She felt more like the story was actually about her and the prince, and they felt like the main characters. So as a Cinderella story, I think it is good.
I would agree, but without hesitation.
I think it's average. I think it's mid. I want more darkness in my Cinderella. So yeah, I'm gonna call it good. I'll give it a solid 7.5 for the Cinderella movie.
Everybody knows, I've already said this a million times, I really like this movie. This one's one of my favorite Cinderellas and everything. But I would even venture to say I like it a lot more than the 1950s version. I think just because of that romance and that the character, that Cinderella and the prince are more at the forefront of the story.
Yeah, I think so you're saying it's a better Cinderella story than the 1950s, and it's a better movie for you?
Yes, I would say that. I would be quoted saying that.
Do I agree that it's a better movie? They're both pretty good, but they're also kind of both. This is a better movie.
Okay. let's end the video here before he says anything different.
Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Consider throwing me some cash in the PayPal link in the description. If you don't want to give me a can of Coke, you may consider giving one of my editors a can of Coke. They would appreciate it a lot since I forced them to work in a basement with poor working conditions.
Don't say that. That's not true.
Check out this video over there for more JotaZeta content. And thanks for joining the Zetaverse. Bye!